Welcome to Sillinder Devlogs 2. Today I'm going over the new flat shroom section and the new swim spring section on level 7 of Sillinder something something Tuesday. But before that, I wasn't really sure the flat shroom combination was gonna work at first, cause a big part of Shroomlander was how you gotta wrangle yourself around in all 8 directions. Thankfully, it's still pretty interesting in 2D. This perspective allows me a lot more vertical freedom when designing rooms, which fits with Shroomlander's vertical mobility. Much like organ paint from last video, this combination worked instantly. I just copy-pasted a flat room and placed a droplet in there and bam! I've still gotta make the 2D sprites for Shroomlander, however. I made 2 new enemies for this section. One of them's a little bugger that chases you around on the ground, and the other one's a guy who shoots you and then climbs up when you go near him. There's also like a machine that makes evil spiked walls, but I've yet to make a design for it. Along with those, I also made these hands that slap you around as a nice movement bonus. They're pretty useful considering Shroomlander only has a jump. I also went back to level 1 and changed the design of these exposed wires for a cooler, more abstract one. I did mess up like every wire in the game after doing this though, so I had to go back to all of them and reposition each and every one. There's probably some still left in there, but that's alright, I go get them later. I like to design rooms around 2 per day, as this puts me at a good pace without tiring me out or rushing them, so designing these rooms took around a week. With that part done and certified, I can finally move on to the swim spring combination. This one, what? Huh? Huh? Good. Yeah, that's just what I get for my lousy programming. At least it worked eventually. I could have been dealing with this for like a week. Thankfully, I remembered how it all worked in time, and I only spent about an hour on it, which is pretty sweet. Now this one might be the most interesting one. You get the normal spring moveset on land, and then the swim one underwater, with the addition of the spring jump adding a layer of verticality to it, so I made sure to make some use out of the dynamics of changing between the two in here. Designing these rooms was harder because this moveset is a lot more elaborate and intricate. I'm actually not even sure if I did it justice, but when I make this I can't be sure they even work, so it's alright. I decided to bring back this little guy from the organ paint section, except now it runs different underwater. You're meant to either outrun it or outmaneuver it, but most people just outrun it. Then, I made this army of guys that shoo you off into the water, as well as this evil fish thing that shoos you off into the land. I think you're better off in the water, as the fish is outswimmable. Lastly, I made these rocks that fall from the sky. Inspired by Pikmin 2's falling objects, I just think they're neat. Okay, a lot of people hate those, but they work better here because this is a platformer, alright? And I also made crushers that crush you. So, while brainstorming concepts back in level 7a, I made a segmented creature that moved like a caterpillar or snake. I decided to shelve it in favor of the other ones. Then, while brainstorming the swim spring section, I remembered that concept and thought it would fit this moveset nicely. I decided such a cool creature deserved a bit of the spotlight, so I made it a little mini-boss to finish up the swim spring section. Design not final, of course. And once that's done, it's time to listen to the playtesters. I ran into a small problem early on when testing Flat Shroom. Like I said before, I messed up every wire in the game. And while fixing all of them, I forgot where some went, so they ended up in the wrong places. Fixed it after that though. Then, I had to fiddle with the code that syncs things to the music, cause everything connected to it just refuses to do its job until it's told it's on beat. All smooth sailing after that though. This one's probably the easiest, so you never really hear complaint with these. Swim Spring didn't really have as many problems. I guess the fish guy didn't really want to work at first. And it is the final one, so I hardened it just a pinch. It's pretty funny, you know? I've always seen game design as a machine I don't really grasp, one which I have no precision with when handling due to all the different reactions you get as each playtester digests its singular output. But I guess that conception is wrong now. For the most part. Now confident with these tweaked rooms, let's actually hear them out.
Fuck, I hate it! No, you don't. The flat shroom sections were very fun. They weren't too tricky to try figuring out how they worked, but they were still challenging. The new enemy's a bitch though. I really liked the part where you send Sillinder flying away. That was very nice. Swim Spring was a very good translation of both of the abilities. I like the urchins. They made it a little bit more challenging. The red things were bitches. I like the conveyor part. It gave a lot of World 5 vibes. And there was a gradual sense of difficulty throughout all the rooms. It was very nice.
So, I like the flat stages a lot in this game. They kind of remind me of those little 2D sections in Super Mario 3D World, where like the shadows on the wall, like it switches from 3D to 2D. Like I think it's really fun. Getting the shroom ability in 2D is pretty cool, and the hand platforms that go with it are utilized pretty well in my opinion. Where you get flung and you gotta time it like at the right time. That's fun. This section does have a lot of butt-clenchingly tight platforming, though, as a lot of the game does. But for me, I like surpassing all the close calls I get while playing. I think it's pretty rewarding. But for others, I can see, them getting pissed off. But, there's a lot of sections in here that are easily cheesable, which is a good thing. I like the cheese. But, it's just fun going through a room and thinking, like, oh boy, this has some speedrun potential. Like thinking that in the back of my head. But overall, I like it. I think it's a great little section. But fuck the gunman enemies. They can all die. I love the swim spring section. I already loved the spring ability, so combining it with the water mechanic is super fun. Being able to bounce super high and then sending myself flying makes it feel like I'm just like skipping through the whole level. It's great. The chase segments are also really fun, forcing you to think faster and not just spam, hold Z and X the whole time. Even though it's really fun too. There were a couple of times where I wished I could move Sillinder around like while they were in freefall, but to be fair, I think that is a good way to punish me for being stupid. Yeah, I wish I had more to say about it, but I had fun, man. I don't know what to tell you. It was a fun level.
I believe there's always going to be room for improvement, but if the playtesters enjoy it, then you're at least on the right path. Special thanks to HQ and Skolatol for taking the time to do these, as well as for being consistent playtesters. Okay, so I don't actually have anything good for the midsection, so you're just gonna have to watch this work in progress footage. It kinda just falls apart after this. Oh, ran out. Let's see here. Well, I've been practicing a little claymation lately. I had to do a bunch of it for level 6, even though I didn't really refine my skills with it in preparation. I only did these 2 things though. Outro time. Alright, yeah, sorry, this one took longer than it should have, because I was trying to do this playtester interview bit, but I found difficulty scheduling and like doing it in general, so in the end I just had to find a compromise. I'll hopefully do something cooler next video though.
Dude, that's not even near the middle.